everyone. Welcome to the next town hall meeting now. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jeff Thompson and I'm personal assistant to Mr. Edmund Hinkson. Before we go any further, as with everything, we're going to start with the word of prayer. Listen, give us the word of prayer.
Almighty and most merciful Father, we thank you for this day. We will rejoice and be glad in it, for this is a day that you have made. Oh Father Lord, I thank you for the fine weather, because we are all aware we were on the stormy watch. Oh Father Lord, I prayed, flood watch. Oh Father Lord, I pray, dear Lord, that whatever is done and said here will be to your honor and to your glory. I pray, dear Lord, that you guided by your word, and that you begin on this, that you will guide us, and that the plans that we make for this Weston community will come to fruition. That, Father Lord, all these mercies I ask in your son's precious name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you very much, Teresa. Okay, just for all of you who are here, as you're aware, this is a town hall meeting to discuss and to engage the residents of the community in the development of Weston.
Come on, boy. That's it.
Edmund's requesting the audio front. So like I said, this is to engage residents of Weston into the development of the community. The things that y'all would want to see, and the issues that y'all would have. This is your opportunity to engage in Member of Parliament.
Everything being
There's some concerns about the fire station, there's some concerns about the fish market. So this is your opportunity to ask questions that you know to ask. This is your opportunity to give any ideas or any initiatives you would want to see in the community. Anything that you think that we can do to improve Weston and get some variance, whether it be tourism-wise, educational, any projects that you think that we as a community can do that will engage and better the lives of the residents. Okay? So before we start to take questions from the audience, I'm going to let Mr. Hinkson, our Member of Parliament and the Minister of Home Affairs, address you with the opening statement. Hinkson.
welcome. I thank all of you who are here. Of course, Sunday afternoon you could be doing many other things and getting ready for tomorrow, relaxing. The fact that you are here shows the interest you have in your community and the future of St. James North and in Barbados as a whole. Of course, these are challenging times for us as a country and as the people who live here, but the government of which I'm a part is committed working with you, because we can't do it alone. No 30 people in any parliament can ever be the salvation and the savior of everybody. And we know that as well as anyone else. So we need your input to help us. And this afternoon, of course, is an opportunity for you to tell the government of Barbados through me how we could develop this area, Weston and its environment, including further Lower Carlton, Mount Stanfast, in fact the wider part of St. James North, if you want to speak about that. But obviously we're focusing on Weston. Weston, in my opinion, is an area with tremendous potential. As I say all the time, a lot of the amenities are here. There's a school, a primary school, not that far from a secondary school further down the road. You have churches and, you know, one thing Barbados has is a lot of churches, and the whole Caribbean. We have, what, at least 3-4 churches in the vicinity. Anglican church, and traditional, of course, church of our ancestry, and then Dublin Road Church, Garden Church of God. All right, you have, of course, the fish market here, Millie Eiffel Fish Market, which we plan to upgrade, and I think most, if not all of you, would know that the minister in charge of the blue economy and fish markets, Kirk Humphrey, would have come here a few Tuesdays ago and inspected it, seen for himself. We have across the road a now closed fire station, closed last year, May, and we'll hear your thoughts on that, no doubt, as to whether you believe it should be reopened. That had nothing to do with what the government might be thinking, or whether you feel it could be utilized now as a vendor's mall or some community tourism aspect. You have, of course, a vendor stall here. Sean Nichols, who operates it, is here. And of course, you know, as night follows day, once you have a church, as we know in the West Indies, you have rum shops. So you have 2 established rum shops within a stone's throw each of here. The Lucas shop and the John Moore shop. The John Moore shop, so iconic an institution that the then Parliament of Barbados, led by former Prime Minister Owen Arthur, took a resolution to Parliament saying that it could not be sold to foreign interests. It was so iconic to the national treasure of Barbados. And of course, you have people. You have the various communities, Weston, Dublin Road, Bears Road, Quick Hill, Upper Weston, Lower Carlton, the Garden all within the immediate vicinity. You have one of the best beaches in Barbados. You have houses, market houses for rental and that are owned by non-Barbadians. You have a piece of land just a stone's throw away that I understand the price for it was about 30-something million Barbados dollars, a few acres of land. And with the fish market, of course, you have people's livelihoods, the fishermen, the fish vendors, etc. And therefore, you know, this is an area of potential. Question would be whether you want to make it like an Oystins on a Friday night, a community tourism aspect, you know, but we need ideas on how to increase its development for the economic enfranchisement of the people of Barbados. Further down you have Thunder Bay, of course, where a lot of fellas line, and we know about that, and an intention there to develop a building block program. Minister Adrian Medic Ford came down there with me about a couple of months ago and would have spoken with the guys there in terms of the government's program and intention to have employment for communities getting together and, you know, starting businesses which we will encourage and which we will support and assist. So that is the background of Weston, which many of you all know just as well and better than I do, because you've lived here all your life. Here is part of your livelihood. And therefore, we're open to your ideas, which we will certainly consider as a government on how to improve and develop and make here better for the good of the community and the people who live in it. Thank you. So the floor open. We have a mic here to help. We're recording, but don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. All right, once it's within the realm of decency. Don't be afraid to be critical of what the political directorate may be trying to achieve within the context of here. This is a free and open discussion. And this is what we're about. You will know that one of the aims of this government is to have people's assemblies, local government. And we're setting that up right now. Ralph Thorne, Member of Parliament, the Queen's Council, he is going to be head of the Local Governance Commission. Mr. David Commission, Ambassador, is Deputy Chairman. And only last Thursday, Cabinet approved the names of a committee, about 12 or so persons, to sit on that commission. And that commission is mandated to come up with a formula for local governance, whereby the people in communities, they will have, it is envisaged that you will have 30 assemblies, 11 assemblies, I believe, or it may be more, I think it's 20, because the more populated parishes would have more than one. St. James would have 2. And there will be elections to this local governance commission that will deal with local matters such as potholes and street lights and all of that. Because again, there's no way that a member of parliament, especially one who is a minister like myself, and in my ministry, Home Affairs, I have 15 departments. And there's no way that I'm going to do that adequately and satisfactorily to the full satisfaction of my constituents, to deal with constituency matters at macro level, all right, such as when you have floods, for example, or when the flood is coming in, prepare for that, and also deal with street lights and garbage collection and potholes in the road, etc. I'm not going to fool myself. I'm only human like all of us in here. And I'm not going to be able, no politician is going to be able to do that adequately. And therefore, we are bringing in this local governance. It is a variation of the constituency council because people will be elected to the posts. And, we will have people's assemblies like these where you come and you speak not only with the member of parliament, but also with those who you elect to serve at local government level. So I'm just giving that heads up that we had promised that in our manifesto and we are in training to do that. So I think we're going to need some more chairs, Jeff, from upstairs. Horace, you're good. And Bates, thanks. A couple still in front. So we open up the floor now for ideas. And like I said, speak freely.
Anyone interested in sharing their concerns? There's a microphone here with Jonathan. Anything that you want to share? Any comments? But all I will ask is before you start, please just state your name and nothing goes.
I am Donna, and my major concern.
Take the mic there because you record it, so you want to give you a little education.
Good evening. My name is Donna. My main chief concern. One of my chief concerns is when we are going, the drivers that is, we're leaving here and going up Westmoreland, that road is of major concern to me. And then you have to go to the right, or even to go across the St. Silas. If something can be done about that, that would be a great help to all motorists and pedestrians, I'm sure.
Okay. So Donna, what are you suggesting be done? Of course, Donna has raised an extremely current and pertinent matter, the issue of the hazard, which is the crossroads at the top of Westmoreland as it joins with Highway 2A. From the time I became a member of Parliament, of course, and that was in February 2013, the first letter I wrote on that issue to the then Minister of Transport and Public Works was on the 13th of April 2013. Some of y'all would have got those letters because I believe that when I write a letter to the community, it isn't my personal letter. Sorry, a letter on behalf of the community, it isn't for my personal fiefdom, and I put it on Facebook. Since then, I think we wrote 3 other letters. Since the elections, of course, I'm now a member of the government, and I've written a letter to the Minister of Transport and Works and Maintenance, Minister Duguid, and would have copied it to Peter Phillips, who is the Minister of State in that ministry, and he's in charge of this northern area. How they've divided responsibility. Minister Phillips is Minister responsible for this area. And yes, it is still on the cards. The question is finance, resources. We know that within the last 4 years, they've had 3 fatal accidents there. And every life counts. You can't put a money value on life. Some people feel that, and I'm not an engineer, of course, nor landscape designer, that the area might be too small for a roundabout, because you would then have to acquire some property across the road from the church. And acquiring property is money that you have to pay the owner. But traffic lights, I think, my common sense, either a roundabout like what you have at Common Air in the stadium, which is a small roundabout, and that is what, in fact, I put to the previous Minister of Transport, and that can't cost much money. But I'm not an engineer in terms of the design, but I would think that could work. That would be the least cost effective, or the most cost effective solution. But also naturally lights, a figure was given, I believe, of about $200,000 for lights, street lights to go there. That sounded like a lot to me, that is the truth. Last year, it would have been, I think, October, we would have had a town hall meeting at the church on the issue. Not long after, within 2 months after the last fatal accident there, the lady from who lived in Westmoreland, and the then minister came and promised lights, but of course 6-7 months and nothing was done, and the election has intervened. I commit to having it on the front burner when financial resources allow us. You will notice that since the election about 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks, maybe 4 weeks ago, they marked out the lines again. They spent a couple of days painting the lines, and that's what they did after the town hall meeting. They widened the area, but that isn't enough. And I don't want to anticipate a question maybe from the branch president on the street lighting in the area, but let me just say this here. One of the issues, yes, is the street lighting too on the highway. Last year, I counted for the stretch of this constituency, which starts on that stretch from Lancaster roundabout down to just by All Saints Plains Field, just before Mile and McCrawder, there were less than 50 burning street lights, and that's not good enough. So that too is a difficulty. And let me put a plug. I received an invitation. I'm not part of the planning, nor was I told before. I received an invitation on Thursday, like I believe a lot of y'all, I don't know, Jonathan Smith here, who lives in Upper Carlton, told me he received one. So I don't know if they've only given people on the top end, but an invitation to a town hall meeting being organized by the Ministry of Public Works, the same ministry, on Wednesday at 6 o'clock at the St. Thomas Church. And we put it on my Facebook. We will resubmit it again, Jonathan, on tomorrow as well as Wednesday. Wednesday, 6 o'clock, St. Thomas Parish Church, a meeting on improvement of Highway 2A stretching from Bagatelle to Mile and a Quarter. So we look forward to as many of you as can attending that meeting. Like I said, I'm not part of it. I presume the panel will be ministry officials. I'm assuming Minister Phillips will be there. I know Minister Dugan will be overseas, but I will check with Peter to make sure that he's coming as well. And Donna, of course, I would hope that you are there too. Or your mom is as good as you, or sisters, and that they will put that question too. But I'm sure it will be with you.
Good evening, representatives. I think I got a big voice.
Nah, we still want.
Okay,
Remember
good.
traffic passing. And
Okay, my name, and to everyone else, my name is Edmund. I'm a community representative in the area. When the idea came to me about a town hall meeting about the whole Western project, years ago I was given to the Fisher Fork Hall feasibility study of the whole Western community, and somehow it got done. I don't know why it didn't take the advantage at that time. It was flooding, but I thought it would be a very, very good idea. But that's all gone, said and done. Today is today. And when I look at, especially the fire station area, I throw a lot of stuff in the box. One thing came out is bringing back the fire station, and then I thought that it would probably be too expensive now at this time, considering the financial position of government, to bring the fire station back in circulation. Next I thought about a clinic, and then I thought that Morris Bar was a bit too close to bring a clinic. And then again, we got to look at a source of people, personnel to run these things, which is going to be a cost to government. And again, I went to the box and I pulled out a restaurant. And I said that would be really great for the Western area, but who's going to run the restaurant? And I want to throw out the box, but something happened, so I threw it back in the box for further analysis. And what I want to say that Western is a very renowned area. And I've been to the USA where I talk about people, and people say, I know you. I say, no, me. I said, I'm from Barbados, and much, you don't know much. They say, you're from Western. And I said, how you know me from Western? Because I've read a lot of stuff about Western and Fishing Fork organizations and various things that happen at Western. Because I have from time to time work with people from universities, throughout USA, Canada, England, and other parts in UW or Western, you see at Western. So the Western community has traveled a long way over the globe. We went down to Belize where I went in 1999. The point is, one thing I travel a lot, and during my time, I've been to Las Vegas almost every year from 1999, so that's a long time. And every time I go, I eat at the main station restaurant. The main station restaurant is an old railway station that has been converted into a real nice restaurant. When I thought, I said, who will run the restaurant? A private concession or a government? If you give a private concession, that means the community didn't get much out of it. And I thought one of the things is that if we can use the fire station for what it has its history of being a fire station, and probably can look at it as a park, museum, park restaurant, it would bring tourist attraction and it always serve its purpose. The restaurant, I thought the best person to run the restaurant would be Pomeranian. We'll be used to educate our youth, because we are all about empowering communities and empowering our youth. And we give our youth the opportunity to grow and things they like to do. A restaurant around but the Pomeranian will, if it is feasible and if it's profitable, it will pay for itself. In fact, at the time, when government is looking to put money into things, I think on the long run, somewhere down the road, if it becomes very profitable, it can run itself. One thing is that we have a lot of visitors visiting Western. We have quite a number. We got Lantana, the people over there, and if the project over here for the million cells, we got a lot more people coming to the Western. area. Got people coming all sorts of there, and people coming to buy fish, and people stay in the area. And if they see a restaurant, they see a museum, they may be or will be attracted to it. And if it's sell wisely and sell at the best and the highest level, then it can be predictable. I mean, this is just my idea of a little box. Anybody could close the box and close me up. But we need to move forward from where we are. We need to empower ourselves. We need to step to the next level. Yesterday is past and tomorrow is future. We need to look towards our future. We need to develop our community. We need to put it more on the map. Somebody asked, what will happen? So people come to the museum, if they come to the restaurant, then they know the fish market, and they come over and have fishing next day. And if they know that John Moore round shop is one of the best round shops in Caribbean, Miss Lucas, got some real nice pork chop, they're going to come back. If you know that God nice people in Weston, people will come back. In fact, what we're doing, we're building a stronger and a better community, and we'll be moving forward. I know the community can benefit, the water sportsmen can benefit, even the fishermen can benefit from having tours. But there's potential in Weston, something that we don't open our eyes, something that we don't look to see. But I know positively from the time it came to Weston that there was something here of value and a resource of value that we are not exploiting. We are just taking for granted that the government will do everything to make us happy, and just when the rains fall, we're happy, and somebody, the government's not there, we sit down on our laps and we start to cry. We need to get it, we need to move forward. And I believe that community involvement, that we don't just look to government, but as community people and community leaders, we are all leaders. And the community is ours. We don't need a community with a stigma that when you're here, you come from the farm, or you come from Britain's Hill, or you come from God Hill. We don't need those kind of communities. We need vibrant communities that will stand for their own, communities who will have people that can be recognized, and people who will make a mark or a benchmark, a landmark in this area, that when we go, that the next generation that come after us will have a building to go forward from. I thank you.
Thank you. Everton, just a few questions.
Sure.
Or you said a restaurant like Pond Marine.
No, not like Palm Marine. I said a restaurant where we have it can be run by Palm Marine.
It can be, right?
It can be run. We can use Palm Marine staff, their expertise, the resource to have the young students. Even some, a lot of our students, even my son from this area went to Palm Marine. A lot of students, even from my church, they go there. A lot of people who from this area, this community, go to Palm Marine for their education.
Right, so that's why I was wondering.
Right.
So this would also be a training school.
Every training is all about
Not
training,
only a
about training. Not just a restaurant, just a training, but as a restaurant, it can make money.
But where you
training,
would cite this, and who would be responsible for building it and all of that?
we have a building,
Private
just leave it
sector?
doing. We have, you see, I was up here teaching karate, and I saw some notably white men and politicians regularly took a tour around the fire station. They had a plan in their hand.
But that within context, when was that?
It was a few months before election. I saw them. I saw that. I'm not that kind of person that I don't take a picture. You know, I start.
Sorry, Vincent.
For development. In terms of development, I would like to understand what physical space are we doing. You have to include also the private land, private property.
Point here. Question would be the location of it, and you know who would obviously operate it. A point made. Well taken. Okay.
I just want to ask a simple question.
Mike. Oh. Or following on from this one? Okay, state your name.
Call us again. How is your plan going to fit in today? How are we going to address climate change?
How are we going to address
How are
or climate change?
yes?
You're asking Everton. No, you want to expand a bit on what aspect of climate change you're talking about? Expand on your concern.
Any plan which we have has to inform us climate change. Because any master plan has to be developing towards 2030, 2040, not in 2080 or tomorrow. We got sea level rise. We also got natural disasters which has happened.
Hold it a bit closer.
Which has happened at the drop of a hat. We can't predict that. It might be nice to have the facade of PSPD with restaurant or something. I hear some of my friends in the background saying that we need to have a fire station there, but we're gonna put a fire station back there, and then you have to move it because sea level rise. In a couple of years. This is a reality I talk about. We also have to be mindful of how we can be able to survive out here. Basic thing that's something in whole area. Basic thing that after development of that site, how is it going to impact the house? The sign that we so preciously look at, that's the
I just want to try to answer Paul's question. Climate change has, that's a very good point. But climate change has always been with us, and one of the things that we need to do is to adapt. You see, the scientist says that the fishermen catching all the fish out. So it's best to remove the fishermen from the sea and the fish will grow back. But the fish are a lot smarter than us, because in God's plan, fish came before men. And one of the things that the fish have learned to do, and nobody's blaming pollution, they're all blaming fishermen. And as it goes to symposiums, and it says that if the fish is gone, that the marsh is so tall over the sea that she can pay fishermen to harvest the moss and clean the beach. So where is the moss going? And up to now, all the scientists that I sit with at university still can't tell me wouldn't tell me where the moss going. But climate change has always been with us. In fact, where we call Chapel Show, the St. Albans School used to be down there on a graveyard. There used to be canes all below here, and there used to be what we call the beach, used to be trees all on the beach. Climate change will always be with us. But one of the things is that we need now to adapt and draw principles that will help us to be able to go through it. Whether or not we build a market there, climate change, it will always happen. You see, it will always happen. That the study carbine is on a slope facing, on the fault facing. This way that we started getting earthquakes really regular, and Barbados is dropping 4 inches a year on the north side, and raising a bit on the south side 4 inches a year. It doesn't seem like much, but in 20 to 30 years from now, it's going to be a lot. This is things that the general public don't know. So whether or not climate change comes, the earth is in such a way that it designs and redesigns itself. And we as a people who are supposed to be educated and sophisticated seem not to know how to do things. Even the little birds just get it do well. I think we spend too much time on political issues and bipartisan politics to understand the real value of common sense. But your question has been, well thought, and I agree with you, but we will have to adapt somewhere. Sandy Lane has built their Sandy Lane with a 50-year thought of climate change. The marina and further on, the next island building next south the marina has already put itself in for climate change. And it will affect the course, but we also must move forward, we must need to take a step forward so that we as a people can survive on our coastlines in our country and of course. Something, there are things in life that we will not be able to change. All we need to do is to adapt to the flow as it goes on from time to time. And a lot has to do with and I think that things happen and people don't consult the people in the communities. They build roads, they build buildings, and they don't consult people in the community. And the problem is that I believe that Weston may not flood again unless the whole of Barbados is flood, because the issue of flooding was man-made. If we prepare ourselves, if we take the necessary steps and procedures to prevent this thing and beyond the stage, that we don't have to wait till the egg hatch and then you realize that it's bad. Or the eggs start too long to hatch and then it's bad. But we need to be forceful and we need to be forward, we need to be progressive as things happen in our community, to be up front. And this is one thing that I implore the minister here this evening, that if anything should happen in this community, develop this community, at least that we shall have a voice in it. We may not have much of a voice, but we start to understand, we start to get input on things that hinder, on things that are discourses that stop our community from big going.
Enjoying himself, because a place I was invited to, but obviously he took priority. So I had messaged him telling him, Kirk, don't worry to come, I will take the matters. So, but that is the dedication of Kirk Humphrey as a public servant. So I will answer Winton's, and then I would ask for those who have questions relating to the blue economy, relating to fishing, fisheries, to the fish market, to ask Kirk so that he could answer and be on his way again. All right? Winton, you've asked a good question. Look, space is an issue here in this constituency. For instance, we would love to have a playing field somewhere on this coast in St. James Loch. But that has troubled the minds of all governments for the last 30 years. Where you can put a playing field? Question of space. A lot of the area is private owned, yes, we spoke about that property there, but the government doesn't have $30-something million to publicly acquire it. But that would be asking price, as I understood it when I called a real estate agent and asked how much they're selling those acres of land there for. So, yes, I'm not going to tell you that that is an easily solvable problem where you would cite like a restaurant, future construction. We have the infrastructure here, the fish market, which Kirk is going to speak about now. We have the building. And I know someone is going to ask me about the fire service. Everton raised the issue and said he isn't so sure about the future sustainability of the issue. So yes, Winton, we would have to put our minds together and see about physical space. As I say, we plan to, put building blocks out by Thunder Bay. That is a beach, and but it is something that we will have to address in terms of other development. There's the area, of course, opposite St. Albans Anglican Church. You all in North Carlton would know, those who attend St. Albans Church would know. And there was discussion there about putting a nursery there at one time, but then it was felt that the space was too small to accommodate a nursery. So that is an issue there, but that is a possibility in terms of some kind of development. Cause someone say something? That-
You say there was a whole school there.
There was a school there before, exactly. Right, but that is what was said by the previous government, because Maria Holder was contemplating building a nursery there. And as you know, Maria Holder Trust has built nurseries. But for Maria Holder, we would even be worse off than we are in terms of early childhood education. You know, they built a couple nurseries, I think, Ball Hill and out by Genswick. So there was that idea there. So, you know, I will take your thoughts on that space there as well. Okay? But we have Minister Humphrey here for a few minutes, and those with questions relating to fishing. There are a couple people in the fishing industry here, Kirk. You would have met Weston before, of course, when you were here 3 weeks ago. Theresa Moore has helped a lot with the association, Everton, and some people who work in the fish market here as well. All right. So. Questions, Minister?
If there are no questions, that's okay too. I want to apologize to MA4119. I don't know who's driving it, but I told my car to get it, so don't disrespect me.
If the minister wanted to speak a bit about the tour, I know it was, you know, we got publicity on it, but if there's 2 minutes on it.
First of all, let me say good afternoon to everybody. And I did not see the text from Hinkson, but if I had seen it, still would have come anyway. But you know, when a senior minister says to come, they come. So first of all, let me just say that it is my privilege to be here. And before I get to talking about the fish market, the reality is that even before I was into politics, before I made my decision, Ed used to call me every single day, every morning, how you doing, you make your decision, what you're going to do, kind of thing. So he's been a very good friend to me in and out of politics. And approached me about the fish market over here. And if there's one thing I know about Eddie is that if he's interested in having something happening, he's relentless. So we spoke about the fish market, and then I saw a Percy article in the newspaper. And we took a tour of this market, and there had already been some plans that were drawn up. Most of them are still very useful, so we intended to have the place. I already brought 2 different people to take a look at it, to give us quotations, both on the part that is to be used by the fisher folk, but also the entire fish market. That place needs a lot of work. And so it's not going to be a case where you can come and patch it and do immediately work. If we're going to fix it, we're really going to have to fix it. There's issues with the railings, there's issues with the grill at the bottom, there's issues with the countertop. We actually want to remove the countertop and use a stainless steel, which is what's happening all around the world, and make it a modern fish market. In fact, if I could make it a model fish market, I would be very, very happy. As then we spread toward, we also intend to fix the market in Bridgetown, in Weston. We want to fix by the day as well, at least urgently. So there are a number of plans in store in the area, and I believe we've seen enough to know that we're serious about the work we intend to do. I also had conversations with the chief fisheries officer in relation to what we have to do with the derelict boats. It is one of the things that pain me the most, that we still have all these boats littering the coastline, and that nobody's taking ownership of them, except for when you try to move them, then somebody owns them and they run them, come and start fixing a board or 2 or something, but they can't stay there. And I've said so, and I've spoken to the chief, and I believe within the next week you're going to start seeing some boats being removed. But I want to encourage people who actually left their boats lying derelict to come and move the boats and allow somebody else who's interested in occupying the space for productive purposes to be able to use the space. So that's primarily the issues that we have both in Weston and generally in most of the fishing areas. We know that we have to make this area reflect, in my opinion, the way that most of the West Coast looks anyhow. So this has to be a nice fish market, but I believe at the end of the day, people working there. And whether it's a fish market or whether it's a top villa on the West Coast, you gotta treat people like people. And that has to be, in my mind, that's one of the most important things. And I have some concerns with the persons who expressed to me that the working conditions aren't the best. I know the pressure is low, but when they wash down, sometimes the water goes into the office. Any issues that we had with staffing, we are ironing out. So we intend to have conversations with the fishermen consistently. I've had a meeting already in the city. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be meeting with the jet ski operators and so on in relation to how they use the beach and the indiscriminate use of the beach sometimes, and the way they come onto the beach and the threat that it is to people's lives and so on. So that meeting will be advertised in another few days, but it will be held in about another 2 weeks or so. So there are a number of issues, obviously, in relation to fishing and fisheries and the blue economy in general. This is not the meeting for that. I just came to answer a few questions. So if there are any questions, I'm more than willing to answer them.
All right, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Blair. My question originally was
Blair,
for
last
Mr.
name.
Hinkson.
Just for the record, last name as well.
Blair Richards.
Right.
My question originally was for Mr. Hinkson, but since that you are here, I'll address the question to you first of all. Okay, I've been hearing that there is a new marina or a new plan for a fishing marina, which is supposed to stretch from Roadview going to Point Bay. Is that where you put?
I haven't seen those plans. I'm sure you haven't made them. So if it is the case, and I'm telling the truth, I haven't seen
a marine
them.
park.
A marine park.
Yes.
A marine managed area.
Yes.
Oh. So there are two proposed marine managed areas. There is the one at Parallel Bay, which we intend to expand. And then we had conversations. Actually, we had a discussion on it. We invited people to come and discuss it and consult on it. There's already a marine managed area at Folkestone, and we want to expand the area now for the marine that is marine managed. I don't think it comes all the way up there though. But I don't have the drawings in front of me, I don't have the plans in front of me, but I'm more than willing to let you come and see them. But definitely there are plans to expand the one in Folkestone and to manage it a little bit differently. We had a meeting with most of the fishermen about maybe a month ago in Bridgetown, and we talked about the possibility of having it, and in my mind the necessity for having it. Last night I had a conversation with a former Minister of Agriculture in Jamaica, who used to be Agriculture and Fisheries, but we used to be. And he said when he introduced the marine managed area in Jamaica, there was a lot of outcry from the fishermen, because naturally people fish there. But he said to them, give him 3 years or so and allow the fish to replenish, and then eventually they were more than satisfied with the possibility. The problem that we had with the marine managed area, for the most part, when we met with the fishermen, was that they were concerned that they wouldn't be able to catch the bait fish, more so than they were about the regular kind of fishing. But yes, we're looking at the possibility of a marine managed area. There's nothing has been decided as yet. When we do intend to pursue it, there's going to be much more consultation on it. But there's some people who I know are opposed to it. There's some people who are definitely for it. We believe that we have to find a way to replenish the fish stock in Barbados. We also feel that we have to find a way to allow the reef to replenish itself. And this might be a way to do it. It worked in other countries. I don't see why it couldn't work in Barbados. But it's only a conversation for now. And before anything is decided, as has been the way we've operated, there's going to be significant consultation on it. Okay, no more questions.
I don't want to hog the show, but
One moment.
on the marine management and
All the way.
Okay,
Then you might say it.
Somebody else want to say something.
okay, sorry.
Good evening, my name is Cameron Smalley. It is not a question really, it is a suggestion. Seeing that, sir, you just spoke of the consultation and all of that. And you also spoke that some persons are for it and some persons are against it. Don't you think it's a matter of education where persons might not understand the reason for a marine protective area, but given series of educational talks where you make, you know, you explain to persons, because many times persons react because of lack of knowledge. They don't understand. They're ignorant of whatever you're speaking of. So obviously they will react in a negative way. So I am just suggesting that maybe some educational series, sessions, probably make persons understand will be a good thing.
I am in total agreement with what you're saying. The reason for the consultation, though, is before we get to the point where we PR it and we discuss it, like we put it on TV, is to allow people to come and vent and actually help us to structure it, so that we allow people to have input in initial stages, so that which we put on the television and on the radio is actually more respectful and it more reflects the interests of everybody who had already had the opportunity to consult on it, as opposed to me discussing and amongst ourselves and making a decision and saying, hey, this is what it is. So we will do that, but I think before we get there, there's still that need for the initial small meetings, consultations, and stakeholders who are involved.
Good evening again, I'm Everton. I have been on a lot of these consultation meetings. One thing is that when it comes to the fishermen, they tell us what they're going to do. The fact is that the fishermen are not consulted in the beginning stages. The plan is always there. This is what we are going to do.